Mace Windu was a Katarn male of 53 years of age by Revenge of the Sith. Katarns were exact humans, however, all of them were born Force-sensitive. Mace's physical shape was downright insane, especially for a man of his years. His strength was considerable, as shown when he matched the monstrous strength of the cyborg General Grievous, and with Force augmentation, he tore battle droids to shreds with his bare hands during the Battle of Dantooine. Mace Windu's speed was downright insane. During the Battle of Dantooine, he evaded the blaster fire of hundreds, if not thousands, of B-2 super battle droids with sheer agility, and during his duel with Darth Sidious, he was stated to be fading in and out of existence by a distraught Anakin Skywalker. Mace's endurance was incredible. During his time on Harun Kal, Mace was suffering a stab wound to the neck, a blaster shot, and several broken ribs, and still went on to face his former apprentice, Deepa Billaba. And during the Battle of Dantooine, he went for several hours, destroying battle droids with only a sip of water. All in all, Mace Windu was a physical hurricane of speed, strength, and endurance. Only the best of the best can compete with him. Kyle Katarn was a human male of 60 years of age by the time of Legacy of the Force. Although beyond his physical prime, this was not much of an issue for the Battlemaster, as he kept himself in great physical shape throughout his life as a Jedi Battlemaster. His strength was such that he could contend with the muscular strength of Desan, who was empowered at the time of their duel, and Darth Kaitis, who was also noted for his physical strength. Katarn was also quite agile, and was able to perform skilled acrobatics in combat somewhat frequently. Katarn was also noted for his hardiness. This is the guy who survived getting hit in the back with a speeder, only to be shot forward into Darth Kaitis' lightsaber blade, and continue to walk around with a stab wound in his chest for several hours without medical treatment. Ouch. I also feel that Kyle Katarn's levels of stamina are quite underrated within the community. With only days of training, this man has fought his way through all 7 of Jarek's Dark Jedi, who, in and of themselves, all carried unique and different skill sets that were quite a challenge for the young Jedi, and proceeded to then fight Jarek in the Valley of the Jedi, whose power rivaled Darth Vader. And later in his career, he has slashed his way through armies after armies of stormtrooper, and has gone into vicious beatdowns with Yu Zhanfang soldiers, and got up and walked away. This verdict is tricky to call. Both Mace Windu and Kyle Katarn are in pinnacle shape for a Jedi Master of their status. While Katarn is older, it's only by a few years, and it's really not going to matter in this fight. With regards to feats of strength and speed, I'd have to give Windu both edges, as he simply has more feats and accomplishments in comparison to Katarn. That isn't to say Kyle Katarn can't contend with Windu. Quite the contrary. He has just as much endurance as the Katarn Master, and I would even argue has a slight bit more durability against Windu. But durability and pain tolerance can only get you so far. I give Mace Windu the edge for physical attributes and capabilities, though I must stress it is a very, very slight advantage. Mace Windu was irrefutably one of the most powerful Jedi of his day, second only to Grandmaster Yoda. This is made even more impressive due to the fact that Katarns are naturally connected to the dark side, so Mace's ability to use it and still stay in the light is extremely impressive. Like all trained Force users, Mace used Force augmentation to bring his already incredible physicality to the superhuman levels. His telekinesis was powerful and direct. He has slammed renowned swordmaster Sora Bulk into a rock, tossed around B2 super battle droids like nothing, and has even pushed an ATTE off of a cliff. He has also combined his telekinesis with Master Yoda, and has pushed back an entire army of battle droids. Mace has also shown skill with the Deadly Force Crush ability, crushing General Grievous's chest, giving him his signature cough. Lastly, Mace was skilled in the rare yet powerful ability of Shatterpoint. This ability allowed Mace to see fault lines between solid objects and even see how certain events could change history, though he couldn't use the ability in an active duel. Nevertheless, it is still a symbol of the true power with Mace Windu. He is a force to be reckoned with, no ifs or buts about it. Despite being a primary lightsaber master, Kyle Katarn was still an immensely powerful Jedi Master and one of the strongest of his era. Like Mace, Katarn could use physical augmentation to enhance his attributes to the superhuman levels. In the realm of telekinesis, Katarn was both powerful and skilled. He implemented telekinetic pushes, shoves, and saber throws to carve his way through dozens of stormtroopers and dark Jedi. He has been able to hold up tons of rubble for a long period of time, and has stopped and redirected a shot from a heavy cannon. Kyle was also skilled in Force Choke, strangulating targets, forceful or otherwise, with the Force. His telepathic skills were moderately advanced. He was skilled in the basic Jedi mind trick, long-distance communication, and battle meld to allow him to communicate and connect with allies during battle. Katarn was also a master of Force Lightning, and was able to blast both single and multiple opponents with powerful bolts of energy. He was also able to block telekinetic attacks from Jarek, Desan, while empowered by Yavin 4, and Darth Kaitis. Kyle Katarn's two most controversial powers were Dark Shear and Sever Force. The Dark Shear was an invisible spear of dark side energy that could impale enemies, and Sever Force allowed Katarn to cocoon enemies in light side force energy to prevent them from drawing power from outside strength and sources, or even more dangerous, cut an opponent off from the Force entirely, though this was labor intensive. All in all, Kyle Katarn was a master of both the light and dark sides of the Force, and I think it's safe to say that his reputation was well earned. This is also quite tricky, as both Mace Windu and Kyle Katarn were extremely powerful with both the light and dark sides of the Force, and yet were still some of the most powerful Jedi Masters of their era. In terms of telekinesis, these two will no doubt attempt to slam each other into submission, but I see both as being able to defend against what the other is bringing to the table. I doubt telepathy will play much of a factor in this matchup. While Katarn's Force Lightning might give him a surprise advantage, since Windu is not going to be expecting a fellow Jedi to be blasting lightning from his hand, it's only a small advantage, and Mace can block the lightning with his lightsaber, because if he could do it against Sidious's lightning, then Katarn's lightning won't be that much more difficult. I don't see Mace's Shatterpoint being much of an advantage in this fight, since he's never actually been shown to use the power in single combat, only in grand scale thinking. By that same token, I don't see Kyle Katarn using either his Dark Shear or Sever Force, as in regards to his Sever Force ability, the power can only really be used on Darksiders, and Mace, while he dabbles in the dark, is still primarily a light side Force user, and I don't see Katarn being able to sever him from the Force. Plus, it takes a lot of energy to sever someone's connection to the Force, and Katarn just does not have that time or energy in this fight. When it comes to Kyle's Dark Shear ability, I personally don't think it will come into play, since Kyle's only used it once in his entire life, and it was in a dark side nexus of power, and since he's never used it since that nexus, I doubt he's just going to start using it today. At the end of the day, Both Mace Windu and Kyle Katarn can negate the other's advantages over them and contend with the power that they are bringing at the table. While Force abilities will no doubt play into a factor of this fight, I don't see it being the deciding factor of this fight. That goes to their skills with a lightsaber. No edge will be given for Force abilities. Mace Windu was irrefutably one of the greatest sword masters of his era, and possibly of all time. A master of all 7 forms of classical lightsaber combat, Mace, along with the help of Jedi Master Sora Bulk, invented their own variant of Form 7 called Vapad. Also known as the Ferocity form, Juyo was a highly aggressive fighting style based on bold and direct movements, with the user feeling excitement for battle through each strike. Vapad allowed Mace to harness the dark side power of his opponents and redirect it back through an interconnecting loop. However, he could only really do this loop when his opponent was a rage-filled maniac. For example, this loop would work perfectly against Sith like Darth Sidious, Darth Bane, or TCW Darth Maul, since they are basically rage-filled loonies, while Sith like Count Dooku, Darth Vader, or Darth Kaitis, this wouldn't work so well since they are able to keep their emotions in check, even if they are Sith. Mace fought with both dominating strength and blinding speed, using bold and direct movements to break his opponent's guard, while attempting to use his environment to his advantage as much as possible. Tactically, while Mace was better than average, he usually preferred to be the warrior of the team rather than the tactical leader. On the whole, Mace Windu was one of the greatest swordsmen, not only of his era, but in galactic history. As a Jedi Battlemaster, Kyle Katarn was one of the most advanced lightsaber masters of his generation, his teaching skills even feared by the one Sith several hundred years later. With just a few days of training, Katarn was able to defeat Inquisitor Jarek's 7 Dark Jedi, and then proceed to defeat the former Jedi Master on his own, whose power rivaled Darth Vader's. He would later go on to defeat Desan, a powerful Dark Jedi, while he was empowered, and hold his own against Darth Kaitis, who even viewed him as a threat. Although Katarn was a master of all forms of traditional lightsaber combat and new techniques of the new Jedi Order, such as the strong, medium, and fast styles, his primary fighting style was a hybridization of Shicho, Ataru, Djemso, and the aforementioned strong, medium, and fast styles. Also known as the Way of the Sarlacc, Shicho was one of the most basic and early fighting styles for all Jedi to learn. It allowed the Force to flow more thoroughly through each trained Force user, using basic wide sweeping motions aimed at the body's target zones, such as the head and limbs. It was mainly geared for multiple opponents, but could be used in single combat, though difficult. Ataru was the 4th form of lightsaber combat. It was a fast-paced and acrobatic fighting style, used to overwhelm the adversary through quick and aggressive blade work. It was a highly taxing form and best used in short bursts. Djemso was the 5th form of lightsaber combat. It relied on heavy power attacks and defense with immediate counterattacks. When on the offense, Kyle Katarn used his mighty strength backed up with swift agility and powerful blade work to break through the opponent's guard. Defensively, he would use his speed and agility to evade attacks so he could get right back onto the offense. Tactically, Katarn was one to bite off more than he could chew. He tended to make up things as he went along when he was put into fights cold, and I also believe he had a bit of a tunnel vision. During the duel with Darth Kaitis, the Sith Lord reached out in the Force to push Katarn back, only for the Battlemaster to match his TK, only for Kaitis to trick the Battlemaster and pull a speeder into his back. Overall, Kyle Katarn was a master of the lightsaber, and truly earned his title as one of the greatest Jedi battle masters to ever live. This is extremely difficult to call. First and foremost, I must stress that Mace's Vapad loop will not be applicable against Kyle Katarn, as while the Battle Master is aggressive and he does tap between the light and dark sides of the Force, he isn't a raging lunatic of the dark side, and Mace's loop has only worked once, and that was in his fight with Darth Sidious, so I doubt he's going to use it here. On the other side, I don't think Kyle's strong, medium, and fast styles will be enough to pressure Windu, as Mace is a good enough swordsman to be able to fight with fighting styles he doesn't know. Tactically, while Kyle is one to bite off more than he can chew, Mace is pretty damn similar in his own tactics, so I don't see Mace subverting him like Titus would. In regards to the opponents they faced, Mace Windu has defeated Asajj Ventress, a Jedi weapons master Sora Bulk, Legends General Grievous, his former apprentice Deepa Billaba, Car Vaster, and Darth freaking Sidious himself. In Katarn's case, he has defeated Inquisitor Jarek as a novice, whose power rivaled that of Darth Vader's, Mara Jade, who is a former Emperor's Hand and one of the most powerful Jedi Masters of the New Jedi Order, Tavion Aximus, a powerful Dark Jedi who I would put in the same vein as Asajj Ventress, Desan, who was empowered by Yavin 4 at the time, and while unempowered was able to contend with Return of the Jedi era Luke Skywalker, and Darth Kaitis, who was fresh from taking on Grandmaster Luke Skywalker only a few weeks earlier. While Kyle Katarn does have his blaster, he hasn't used it since before the Yuuzhan Vong War, and even if he does, Mace Windu can easily just block the blaster bolts. In the end, both of these guys' special cards are basically negated by each other, and that leaves the two duelists at a stalemate. The best way this fight could end is as a war of attrition, not through superior skill. No edge will be given for martial arts skills and dueling abilities. There are a lot of interesting similarities between Mace Windu and Kyle Katarn. Both were esteemed sword masters in their respective Jedi orders and legendary amongst their ranks, while secretly using the dark side of the Force to save the light. Mace with his Shatterpoint and Vapad, Kyle with his Force Lightning and Dark Side Force powers, and both were again esteemed lightsaber masters. Let's set up this fight. Let's say it takes place in the landing pad on the Korriban security station from the cinematic of the Old Republic. We'll say the winner wins 6 out of 10 times, though honestly I could see either Jedi taking this win. The fight would play out as an intense lightsaber duel of pure skill with the blade and physicality, both slamming into each other like freight trains, bringing each and every one of their unique skills to the table, matching whatever the other one brings and negating it with their own skill. This fight would be extremely intense. I see Katarn being the one to bring out the Force abilities, probably shooting a bolt of lightning. Windu would probably get caught off guard, but would be able to block it with his lightsaber. And then we might have a little Force battle, and then the fight would keep going. A match of lightsabers, Force lightning, telekinesis, Force push, physical augmentation, and a lot of other stuff, as they just continue to slam into each other. But eventually, Mace Windu would find the tactical advantage in Katarn's fighting style and cut him down. I declare Mace Windu, the battered, the broken, the bleeding, bad motherfucker of the Jedi Order, the victor. And that's a match. Thank you guys for staying this long in the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you believe, who do you think would win? Do you agree with Mace Windu winning, or do you think Kyle Katarn could take this? I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below. and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.